I found the mods online. So I bought it and I punked it on the table here. And now that my wife is traveling, I got time for projects. So this weekend,
Well, whose mods are they?
Oh, just something I found online.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of the stuff you find online for the DX60 is crap.
I'm open to suggestions, actually. I started doing this for the fun of it, so I'm open to suggestions.
There's one, I've done a bunch of mods years ago. People more or less copied them, and Steam QIX's is basically very similar. So, good for use on AM phone.
Are they online anywhere, Tim?
What?
Are the mods online anywhere?
Yeah, the AM phone website.
Write that down.
Huh?
But let me write that down.
All right, that's AMFONE, amphone.net.
Very cool, thank you.
You're welcome. You gotta get that stuck out of your mouth. Anyway, I don't know how long I'm gonna stick around here. Mark, I mailed off the URL. I wonder if you got it. I had to use your email that was posted.
Told me there's another case of alien abduction.
That happens in these parts.
What the hell are you running, Timmy?
Ever hear of Stancore 10T?
A Stancore something 8?
No, 10. T is in Petunia. Stancore 10T.
Nope, can't say I have.
Well, back before World War II, the various transformer manufacturers were selling kits. You know, three-punch chassis and all that, their transformers, and maybe a bunch of parts, and you put them together. The 10T is a Henry Grain transmitter. It's a single 606 with a 65 Pierce oscillator, which does not require, you know, a plate tuning circuit. So there's just a locking cap from the plate of the 6C5 going to the grid of the 606, and a very high value grid leak to ground. And the modulator is a single-ended 606 and designed for harmonium microphoning. However, I did do a lot of work on this thing. I put a full push talk circuit in it. It was very bare bones. I got it from Scott K1YSK. Very, very clean condition. I've seen these things before, you know, like under the table or the handset when they were all beat to hell. But this thing, as far as I was concerned, this thing deserves to live and work. It's got a plug-in coil. So the coil that's in there most likely is a 160-meter coil. This is a Tampa. It's link coupled out. I've got another coil for that I made up from an existing coil for 40 meters. I got this thing on 75 and 40. It's Clapstone controlled.
Man, that transmitter sounds like what you'd find at one of those marine ham fests in the late 70s from the 2 to 3 megahertz AM transmitter crowd.
Exactly. Hey, I sent you the link. Did you get it?
Oh, one moment, please. I don't have any computers on, but let me check my phone to see if I got the email. One moment. I'll be back.
You'll be back. But anyway, life goes on.
Oh, look at this. I got an email from Tim. Here we go. All right. I'll check this out. Thank you.
You're welcome. Download them, and you'll see what 75 was like. Very, very wild and woolly.
Oh, my God. These came from 3 cassette tapes full of recordings off 75 meters sideband and AM. Please let me know. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to put these on 950 The Lake tomorrow morning. 950 The Lake is my Part 15 AM station that I have AM receivers all over the house, so no matter where I wander or meander to, I can continue listening. This will be featured on the morning show tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you'll be suitably entertained.
And so will the neighbors.
Yes, they will.
Oh, my God.
You know, a number of the characters around there are no longer with us, but there are a number of the characters that are.
I'm anticipating I'll be the first Part 15 station to get raided by the feds.
Oh, I don't think so. Well, no, I think somebody wants to file a complaint.
I live in Greenwich, Connecticut. You can count on that.
Yep. Well, as I was saying, this transmitter, it's typical of the more simpler transmitters of the day. Everybody used carbonium microphonium. And this has a hand-picked F1 button microphonium. I have several of them, and this particular one is none of the usual Western Electric black. This one, the front perforated grills was chrome-plated or nickel-plated. But, look the same, and it fits inside the head shell of the D10-4, where I took a crapped-out D10-4 element and took a hole saw and bored a hole right through the back of the plastic shell. And the F1 button fits perfectly in there. And I slathered everything with goop, glued it in place, and soldered the leads that would be on the going to the D10-4 crop still element, and one to the outer ring, and one to the center tip. And this is the best sounding of the carbonium microphoniums I've got.
Yes, indeed. Using a carbonium microphonium makes you sound like you're a perpetual call-in. A caller, long-time listener, first-time caller to your favorite talk show, N1 BCG. Hey, I won a prize in your morning show. I need an address so I can come by and pick it up.
Or, hey, little girl, I'm a dirty old man. Want to see what's under my trench coat?
All right, now you sound like Bert, K10IK. I mean, how many people show up at a ham fest wearing a raincoat on a bright sunny day?
Oh, I don't know. Because they can.
Here you go, guys. WB1B2.
What? We're not entertaining enough? What's this about?
Oh, we're entertaining. Well, someone turn up the volume and listen to you guys all go for dinner.
All right. After this is free. After this, we go behind the paywall. So if you want to go, that's fine.
I'll be back.
Yeah!
I'm going to unplug my crapstle and plug that back into the exciter transmitter. Go back to high fiddle-dee-dee audio. Whenever somebody is in there yellowy audio, it sparks me to fire this thing up.
Yeah, and then all I need to do is say, yellow, yellow.
Or something to that effect.
Well, that's what I understood the origin of yellowy to be.
Yeah. It is, before, you're about the cusp of me ham radio. And I'd fixed a friend of mine's Fender Git fiddle amplifier. And I had a microphonium plugged in, put around with the reverb, and had my reel-to-reel tape machine patched in and was recording it. And I was imitating what I would hear on 75. Yellow test, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yellow test. So that morphed into yellowy.
There you have it, folks. Pure History Channel right there.
Hysterectomy channel.
Perry, do you feel learned?
Yeah, 1 second. 1 second. I'm learning, get my learn on, but I'm getting ready to get on. 811 rig is burning away over here in the background.
In other words, he's getting his notepad ready to go. See that? It's one of three things on this frequency. It's either educational, entertaining, or, I forgot what the third thing is. That's right, 3873 AM, the one spot, the fun spot.
What's going on, Timothy? W3MMR. Maybe he's not hearing me. Maybe my audio is not yellowy enough.
Yes, 3873,
Yeah, well, this is W what? N1BCG, the G spot on your dial.
Man, you're,
right.
Either your signal or your audio went way down. I didn't know you switched transmitters, but man, oh man, I'm having a rough time hearing you now. Yeah, it's signal. That's what it is.
Well, I did not swing in the scope. In the Stancore, much like this transmitter, uses single-ended modulation. And the way it came, let me see, I got things down like that. There. The way the thing came,
now we're talking.
The transformer was wired incorrectly, so the DC current flow to the PA and that to the modulator were in phase, so therefore there was that much more saturating current, And at the same score, the transmitter would not quite make 100% positive no matter what you did. So when I found that out, I just reversed two of the wires on either the primary or the secondary, and it works very well. The only restrictions are the input transformer and the mod transformer. So one of these days, I'll just have a pick from my processing gear of very low impedance and feed that in and see how that sounds.
Well, it's working now. Now I can hear you. Good deal. Good signal. And how about that? What ant are you on?
I'm on the 75-meter dipole. But stand by. I'm on the array now. Is this any better?
Nope, not yet. Not yet. You're a good 5, almost 6 dB stronger on the 75-meter dipole.
Yeah, there's another group of stations nearby in frequency, and they come up quite a bit. It's just conditionally on these.
Yeah, those are the Midwest guys up on 3880. That's probably why they came up when we switched into the array. That's cool, man. Can't wait till one day I could have a carbonium microphonium and an array.
Yes, you gotta have that carbonium microphonium.
All you need is to find an old Western Electric telephone at actually any flea market or what do you call it, a consignment shop, and that and a 6-volt battery, and you're good to go.
Well, one thing I discovered is no two carbonium microphoniums are created equal. I kind of thought that the Western Electric F1 type carbonium buttons were all the same. Well, they aren't. This one is the best sounding one of the lot I got.
No, and then of course they all change their audio when you bang them on your fist a little bit to clear up the granules.
Yeah, that they do. Out of curiosity, I understand the cut through the mustard factor is not bad with it.
Not at all. That thing would cut the cheese, like, you know, when the band starts to crap out early in the morning or something. Yeah, that would be a good microphone for that.
Well, now, cut the cheese is a whole nother expression.
Yep. It'll be transmitting an Oldorama.
Yeah, Perry, cut the cheese is very similar to crop dusting.
Well, I know that. I'm quite aware of that. But I guess I was thinking of cut the mustard.
Yes, cut the mouse turd.
Call it smell-a-mite.
Yes, indeed. Well, I used to have converted marine rigs. I still do. You know, put the right crapstles in, redo them, and all that. But I used to use the carbonium microphonium that came along with my sonar converted marine rig, and I would always bang it on the steering wheel. If I felt I wasn't getting out, I'd be going bang, 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 and you'd hear talk back going bing, 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 you know. Yeah, those were the days.
Wow, funny you should mention that sonar. I was just going to say, because I had a sonar, and I could have sworn it had a carbon microphone, so you nailed it right there.
Well, what model is it? What's it got, a pair of 12 DQ6s in it?
Yes, it did. I gave it to Chris, JBL, because I wasn't doing anything with it, and it looked forlorn. So I figured he'd like it, and he does. He used to work on that stuff. But it was a really good model. It had an AM receiver. It could get the whole AM band, but then it had the crystal-controlled 2 to 3 megahertz band, of course. I think it had a solid-state modulator and 2 12 DQ6s, or 5, I forget, for the final. But this is the most amazing part. It had a remote head for up on the flying bridge. And so to change channels remotely, it had one of those rotary dials like from a phone. So what you would do is if you wanted to change to channel 8, you do like you were dialing 8. You put your finger in the 8 hole, and you turn it to the right and let go. And meanwhile, back at the base station unit down in the cabin, when you let go, you'd hear the relay go tung 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 tung, the stepper relay, and it would run the wafer switch with all the different wafers along the shaft. And it would rotate it to channel 8. God forbid they ever got out of sync. But yeah, and then on the flying bridge, it didn't have a regular microphone. The microphone was down in the cabin, but on the flying bridge, it actually had a telephone handset. That thing, I think, was the top of the line sonar set for 2 to 3 megahertz YAM. And I ended up picking that up for, well, just a couple of bucks. It was at a Marine Flea Fest. When I was in my high school years. So I went to this thing and I saw that, and I was the only kid, some young kid, not 14. I think I was 16 years old, who was interested in it. And the guy's just like, "You want to buy this thing, kid?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I sure do. How much do you want?" And the guy's like, $25. Or actually, no, it was in Massachusetts. He goes, $25 for you, kid. Oh, well, gee, I don't have that kind of money. And I think he ended up going down to $5. I think I bought it for $5. So, special shout out, thank you to the guy who sold me his top of the line sonar YAM transceiver for $5. You made a 16-year-old kid real happy, and one BCG.
Man, some of my earliest memories are of my dad's sonar. What's the FS-23? It's a 23-channel CB rig. Those are cool-looking rigs too, man. Had to match an amplifier with it and everything. Yeah, those are definitely some cool rigs. And he's got a marine direction finding sonar marine direction finder radio out in the shop, or out in the barn. It's been sitting on top of the frickin' parts cabinet for probably 20 years. Still in the same exact spot. I'm sure it'll work. But maybe I should dust that thing off and bring it home with me next time I go over there. Low audio.
Hello, Perry. Sounding good out there? I don't know what this thing is doing, but good evening to you. Whatever. I will be standing by.
Earl waving a hand, and he's back out.
Sorry,
Is that a commercial break?
Yeah, it was. You can hear Daryl. What's going on, man? Sounding good. Big signal, as always, man. Sounding good in my neighborhood. What's I heard you on earlier about the airport and stuff. I was listening when I was at work, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, man, boy, it got cold. Boy, oh boy, did it get cold.
Well, it'll probably be getting cold up here tonight. I don't know. And it's very cold at the airport. It's wide open there, Perry. It's wide open. And it's real cold out there. I don't know how those guys could do that at the airport.
No, I would have to agree. Them guys down there on the tarmac with all that wind. But I know they have some pretty good gear, though. I think like the airlines supply them with some pretty thick parkas. I'm sure Clark might know something about that.
Well, actually, it's the airport authority that they work for. But yeah, the guys with the red wands for gearing in the planes. Yeah, that's a pretty thankless gig.
That's
Yeah, I see them every morning. And then I'm looking at them when I'm leaving out. Oh man, I said, boy, they probably wish they was on my side, inside the building. And man, I don't know how they do it. They must get paid real well.
Yeah, they had The wind chill factor from the prop wash.
Prop wash.
Well, that's what I experienced. I did a lot of work on the tarmac at Westchester County Airport, working on radios in support vehicles, and you'd get blasted with all kinds of nasty stuff if you were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, these days it's like hot kerosene smelling gas.
Yeah, I got too close to a few exhausts.
I probably seen a lot of action this week. The ice and planes. Oh man, that's cool. Watching those guys and squirting that thing out. Oh man, that's some kind of show to watch that.
Yeah, hey,
The glycol.
yeah, hey, Chris. Good evening, man. Good signal. W3MMR.
Yeah, good evening, Terry, Clark, Darryl, Tim, and all the ships at sea, W2JBL.
Hello, right back, Chris.
Did you get my email? Unless it was sent today, no. It probably didn't go. I was going to send you a link. Oh, God, I got to fire up the computer again. I just shut it down. But it's a link to a Dropbox from Scott WA1MYQ, and it's priceless recordings that he made on cassette. 75 meters from about 1970 almost into 73.
I'm forwarding it to Chris right now.
Yes, I did get that. I don't think I got it from you, but I got it. I haven't followed the link yet. Yeah. Well, the original I got from Scott was very low bit rate, and it didn't sound that good, whereas what was on Dropbox was high bit rate, much higher. So, Clark, I believe you said you'd forward the link to Chris anyway, just to make sure.
I just forwarded it.
All right. Thank you very much.
No sense in turning the pewter back on just for that.
Yeah, I have virtually no recordings of that era, and I was very active. God, who was it? The 3 station that put out that CD about 7 or 8 years ago. Roughly AM from the 50s up into the early 70s. That was pretty well produced. I have that. God, I can't remember who sent me that. But I don't have anything from, my early days.
Man, I'd love to have that.
Bert WA3JYU.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It doesn't sound a hell of a lot different than we do today. Well, now wait to hear this, You'll hear the voices of Roger, K1CZH, and young Chuck, K1KW, PW Fallon's in there, of course. I'm all over it in one way, shape, or form. You hear the Faff in there, you hear Bro Smart, you hear all kinds of stuff. Yeah, that was I won't say peak activity, but that period, 70 to 73, was very, very active. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that, for sure. Yeah, it'll keep you entertained.
Hello, Timmy. You're strapping down here, Tim.
Hey, Darryl, yeah, you're doing very well up here, too. Strapping away in the USA.
All righty.
Yeah, your signals are great right now. Band's in fantastic shape. Yeah, it's pretty cool hearing about all that old stuff, man. I wish I was around for it, but I got a long way to go. I'm gonna make my own memories, man. W3MMR.
Yeah, Tim is a bit older than me. I was a teenager in 1973. I was a junior in high school, and the cotton picking AMers were one of the only groups that ever accepted me on the air as being a kid. Being a kid was tough, especially on phone back then. Well, they did a good job of wrecking me.
I got into AM listening. I got into ham radio listening to this.
And by the way, Barry, I haven't been on the air in a week. The last 4 or 5 nights I've been sitting here listening to this receiver that Tim gave me, the National SW3. It's from 1933. And I finally got it dialed in and really working right, really right. And I've been listening to you guys on this thing every night till the band goes along. And after the band goes along, I'm hearing the guys like, I heard the West Coast on it. Jeez.
Really?
Yeah, it'll drive a speaker, kind of. I hung an output transformer off the back of it, off an existing fastener. I didn't drill any holes in it. So it'll drive a small, speaker. What I ended up doing, what sounds best, is I have a Motorola amplified two-way speaker that I converted into a high-fidelity line amplifier. And into the line amplifier, I think sounds great.
Well, what's the typical B-plus voltage range? What, like 100 to 150?
Yeah, it's spec for battery voltages, so 167 and 135. This being the AC model, they get the low B-plus from a voltage divider.
Yeah, well, what I was going to do, I thought somewhere there may have been some kind of a half-assed homebrew or kit power supply. Well, what I thought of is you take a power transformer that's like maybe, 200 volts or so center tapped. I've got such a thing. And maybe 75, 80 mils or whatever, has filament windings, center tapped. You put a bridge around it. You pick off the bridge, choke input it, and there's your 135 volts, and then voltage divider for your 67. Then off the top side of the bridge, you'd get a, probably 250, almost 275 volts. And you have a tube like a single 6V6 or 6AQ5 and a reasonably good audio output transformer. And you just have a coupling cap from the single stage amplifier from the audio reactor going into the grid of that tube on the separate power supply.
Yeah, I thought of doing something like that, but I listened to it with headphones. It's very good with headphones, and the line amplifier, nice fidelity and everything. So I don't think I'm going to build an audio stage for it. I'm definitely not drilling any holes in it, but it's a very capable radio. It's good on sideband. I tuned in Dave, G0EVY, and his group on, 3788 the other night. Parked it on there, got the regeneration, everything set just right. And the thing didn't drift for about 20 minutes. It just sat there. The most difficult thing, though, it's a chore to operate. The hardest thing to get used to is the dynamic range. It has no AGC, and you got to ride the gain.
Yeah, I figured as much.
It's interesting. You can get selectivity on AM if you just goose it slightly in the regeneration and so on. I've replaced some bad caps, and I think I told you that. Ultimately, I had two problems. One, I was putting too much voltage on it. It didn't like 250 volts. I have an appropriate power supply. It puts out about 140 under load on it. So that cured a lot. And then it had inappropriate tubes in it. It had 6 D6s in there, which is like equivalent to a 6SJ7. And I put 6 C6s in there, which is a 6 SK7. And then it would go in and out of regeneration smoothly. The RF gain worked properly. That's really when it came alive.
Ah, okay.
That's the story on the little receiver, and it doesn't mind having like a full-size 80-meter dipole connected to it, full on. I am going to try loose coupling. What it really likes is this amplified high-Q ferrite loop antenna that I built up over the summer. This thing just rocks with that. So that's the deal. W2JBO. Many thanks, Tim.
Oh, you're entirely welcome. I'm glad I made your day. Yep. You must have oohed and awed when you opened up that package.
Oh, yeah, like, holy crap, you remember?
Yep. I remember going out and digging and digging and digging in the Hulk trailer in the studio, and there it was on my lazy bastard chair. with a bunch of stuff piled on top of it. It's like, I knew it's out here. And I'm saying, I told myself, damn it, I'm going to find it. And I started digging and digging and digging and found it and brought it in.
See that, folks? Ham fairies do exist.
Say.
One thing I don't have a lot of is coils, plug-in coils. I only have the ones for the regen set that my father built back in the early 60s. So if you feel like continuing the archaeological dig, coils are unobtainium. I saw a few of them on eBay. Starting bid was $75, and they don't come up all that often. So if you can find anything, it's on a National XR6 phenolic 6-pin plug-in coil form. Not a 6-pin tube base. It's its own animal. It's an XR6.
I'll have to look around for that. Yeah, if I find something like that, I'll send it your way. You'll probably, if it's a farm, you'll obviously have to roll your own coil.
Oh, the depth of your collection, I'm going to guess you probably have those coils in your stash somewhere. And you can tell it's for an SW3 because the band spread coils have a little mica compression trimmer in the top of them.
Okay.
I can buy new coil forms online. They start at like $25. But I'm blessed to have it, and it's got 80-meter band spread coils in it, and if they spread 80 meters out of almost the entire dial, it's pretty cool.
What was the highest frequency band that was typically designed to cover?
5 meters.
Wow.
And Clark,
Be interesting to see what it does on the higher frequencies.
If my ARC 5 craps out, I can just throw that in the Jeep, plug it in, and I'm on the air with 75 watts. It's all done up.
Hey,
Absolutely. That's what I was thinking. I just never got around to it. And what kind of coils are you talking about with the mica cap at the top?
The plug-in coils that select the band for a National SW3 Thrill Box receiver.
Ah, okay.
what? Never mind, go ahead.
What?
I had a question.
It deals with a thrill box. We can't discuss this in front of kids.
Introducing the new Thrill Box receiver. They emphasized Thrill Box rather than SW3. So it's an adult radio.
I was going to ask a question about something else. I put a bid in on a Hammerlin 411 and a Hammerlin 420 modulator and a transmitter.
I know what that is.
Yeah, I didn't know if anybody knew anything about them. It's like, it's pretty decent. It looks pretty cool. I don't know, for 20, for if I can get it for cheap, what the hell?
I never heard of that.
I think one is the power supply modulator, and the other it's a two-piece unit.
Right.
Why look two-piece?
I remember many years ago there was somebody that had one of those things that had it on the air. It may have been God, I can't even think of his call sign, but he's not in the best of shape.
I'd never heard of one or anything, but I'm looking, I did a little research on the interwebs, and it's really cool looking. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's a very cool looking two-piece unit, and it does, up to, it's got 10, 20, 40, and 80. on it. It looks like it has some coils in it. I don't know what what band they're for or anything, but yeah, there's some information online about it.
Yeah, what's the models again?
It's a Hammerland 4 FOUR. Okay, FOUR dash 20 transmitter in the FOUR 4-11 modulator, Hammerland.
I think I had the modulator that I had picked up from Dean the Kleenex's stash from Vermont, and it was rough and it was butched up, and I was wondering what I was going to do with it. An Apache mod transformer had been stuffed into it, and I took that out, and I gave it to Steve W1DTX, and God knows what he did with it.
Yeah, it's here's the tube line. I guess it's 20 watts out, built-in power supply. It's four 7C5s for the exciter. One's an oscillator VFO, blah, 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 followed by 3 7C5 doubler stages. 807's the final. Yeah, it's I just think it's cool looking, man. Like, it's very, very cool looking, you know. And if I can get it for cheap, for cool looking, and maybe what... I guess there's a 2-lug terminal board on the back to accommodate an external modulator, because it's like a CW transmitter. So there you go. Man, I can get that thing on the air and modulate the hell out of it. Put a linear behind it.
That's locked and through. That would make it tight out of immediate post-war.
Yep. 7C5, pretty much same thing as 6V6, 6A25, and I got a crap load of them anyway.
Yeah, me too. They're in my 32V, and there's 2 of them in the 32V, and of course I have the RME 45 up at camp, and that's all locked in tubes, including a 7C5. I've got a pretty decent stock of those tubes, mostly bought off a Fair Radio.
Yep, and there's one in my Globe Chump is the oscillator.
Wow, I thought I used the 6V6.
Not the one I got.
Oh, God bless Leo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whatever we got. Don't worry about it. Put it in.
Yeah, but, God, the design of the thing was botched. I mean, really.
Is this thing getting out? There'll be 3 of them. Alright, it'll come up. This DX100 is ice cold, but I figured I'd get on the old girl for a little while before I shut things down. No, it was like a thing for my brother. It was my brother's, and my stepbrother's at the time, and he ended up getting it from his dad. And it was like a seafoam green, almost same color as my mom's Impala.